guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for December 7th, 2025. So this was a long week because it was right after the holiday weekend for Thanksgiving. So I had to work 5 days. I had kind of a skin procedure on Wednesday, which I don't know if it really worked or not, but you know, whatever. That was weird. And then, it's just been work. And as I said, yesterday I didn't do anything that I planned to. I just chilled out. And then today I've already gone grocery shopping. So I'm done for the day. I'm just going to do like laundry and stuff. I took Monday off so I don't have to work 5 days until the first week of January. So that week will be painful. But up until then, I have days off every week, at least one. So, anyway, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so other than that, nothing else is going on. You know, life is normal that can be in this time and age. I don't know. Anyway, so I did a lot of reading, but I'm also in a really weird mood. I don't know what you're batting at. I'm also in a really weird mood, as in I am reading books that I've been meaning to read for a while and then trying them and not having a good time. And then I'm in the middle of several books. Like, I just keep starting things. And again, this happens to me at least a couple times a year, where I just start a lot of things and I don't always finish everything. So I'm going to try to December and June are usually the months where I try to clear off as many of the partials that I've already started sometime that year. This year I haven't done so good because, again, June I went on vacation, so it kind of threw off my normal yearly schedule of doing it in June. But I'm hoping to get a few books that I've partially started at some point this year and get done. But I've also, as I said, I have a couple more DNFs, and it doesn't really surprise me. So let's talk about my DNFs first, and then we'll talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I might read in the coming week, because I'm not so sure what I'll be. It's just I'm in full mood reading at this point. I'm just mood reading. Like, if I think something sounds good, I start it, which is, again, a problem. So I did try A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. So this is a holiday romance. It's very sexy times and stuff. This one has to do with an adult film star, plus size, who gets kind of talked or wants to or joins like kind of like a Hallmark movie kind of thing. It's a different, you know, everything's named differently, kind of a program, and her co-star is a former member of a boy band, and he had some really interesting, he kind of went out in a blaze of glory, let's just put it that way, with so he's kind of trying to build back his reputation because he's trying to pay for things for his mother and his younger sister. So again, I liked, this was not written badly, not at all. It really was just, this is not my kind of romance. And again, it's not to do with the plus size stuff. It's not to do with the adult film star stuff. I mean, actually that part was a little funny. I had a little problem with both of the characters. It's again, it comes down to one of my pet peeves of just being human. I have a problem with people lying, and I get why she is not telling people that she's an adult film star, because again, it's kind of like a Hallmark movie, so it's, you know, people don't want to know that, you know, they're trying to hide that other side of her of her persona. And then he, as I said, he knows who she is due to something online that he follows her on, so he knew right away who she was. And again, she knew who he was because he was in a big famous boy band and she had a crush on him when she was younger. So it's like, okay, so there's all this stuff. My problem was when they start getting together, which I got to 35%. And it's not that I didn't believe that they would get together, because their chemistry was pretty good, pretty fast. It was more the coming out of what they knew about each other, or what he knew about her. And I don't know. I just lost interest. I got to 35%, so I got to 140. What did I get to? 140 pages. And I said, I did pretty well. And but it was not a romance that was drawing me in. I just didn't, I wasn't clicking. I think it was still funny. There was a lot of, it was definitely rom-com-y and sexy times. And I think this is really good for somebody else. It didn't work for me. And maybe it's because at work I'm considered the Grinch because I don't want them playing Christmas music all the time. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, they still do it to annoy me. Anyway, so maybe it's just, maybe some, as I said, well, I have a couple more Christmas books that I'm going to read. And it may just be that a rom-com-y Christmas one isn't for me. We'll see. Anyway, so because I DNF'd this and I'm going to get rid of it, I'm also going to get rid of the copy I got at a library book sale, a Jingle Bell Mingle, which is actually book 3. So I didn't even own book 2. But I'm just going to get rid of both of them. So that's 2 down from that. Then the next one that I DNF'd is going to be painful. And darn it, my phone just went off. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I got a text message. I thought it was from my brother and it was from something else. It was annoying. Anyway, point is that I did DNF another series and I'm really upset about it. Again, it's another one where I bought 2 books in the series. So I think I do need to have kind of some kind of project next year that maybe I read of the books that I have, multiple books by an author that I haven't read from before or in a series that I haven't read, that I need to read them and make a decision because, I mean, again, it does get books off my shelf if I decide to DNF them, but I do need to stop buying books ahead of actually reading the first book. And again, I've done a lot of that this year, which is really not normal for me, but I did it a lot this year. Anyway, the one that I'm very disappointed on is Spark of the Everflame. So this is the first book in the Kindred Curse saga, and I knew going into this that a lot of people say it's not the best book and that the main female character is annoying. Yeah, she's really annoying. Actually, I got so mad at her that I had to stop reading this book. I got to 64% into this book. I got to 260 pages and I just went, I can't do this anymore. It got me so upset because so it starts off so good where her mother, she sees something that she's not supposed to, dealing with her mother, and then her mother goes missing. And then we're months later and they still don't know what happened to her mother. And this is a world where there are these things called descendants who are the children of gods and humans mating at some point in the history of this place. And so they have all the money and all the power. And then the small towns that are around them, like where she is living, they are dependent on them, but they're also not treated very well. And she is a healer. Her mother was a healer. And so she is in that profession and she is like 20 years old. So, I mean, there is a little bit of the new adult kind of issues you're going to have with people. But again, she is pretty much a professional. She's been doing this for years. She grew up to become one pretty much. And there are a lot of good things in here. Again, I kept reading up until 260, but between 200 and 260, 3 things happened that I was just so like, what? Why? Like, why would you do that? Why would you think that? Or why would you really say that out loud? And to those people, like, why would you do that? Or go do that? And why would you do that? And it was over. And it was just in that span of 60 pages, I just lost it. And I could not continue. I refused. I had, I had about around a little over 2 hours at the speed I listened to left on the book. And I can't do it. I physically could not make myself sit still to listen to it because I just didn't care anymore. She just went dumb. Now, I do agree that I'm sure things happen after what she did dumb, that it's supposed to get better. And everybody says this is such a good book, but I can't get there. And even though I have bought these and I even got audiobooks on sale at some point earlier this year, I don't remember. I have to DNF. If I cannot handle a main character and their decisions in the first book, like at all, I really wanted to like this book. And I was even, again, I had a couple things earlier that I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about her doing that, or thinking, or making that decision to join, you know, a certain thing. And then she does, as I said, she does this whole stupid thing in the middle of this book that I'm like, you are so dumb. Why would you do that? Why would you risk everything for that? And it made no sense to me. And then again, what happens on page 260, 261, I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So unfortunately, I will be getting rid of both my copies. I will, I just, you know, as I said, I can give a character a certain amount of leeway of doing stuff that makes sense to their character. But to me, really, at the point that was happening, it's not making sense anymore. From what she was like in the very beginning, even the little things that I was like, I don't know about her there, but there's a few things that were like her, she changed because of something that happened. And I totally get why that is the inciting issue for her to continue as, but her decisions after that point make no sense to me. So this is just not for me. And again, it is my personal opinion. Anybody, I'm sure there are so many people who love this series, and I don't. I just can't. So I'm getting rid of those books. So those are all my major DNFs. I did DNF another book that was a library book, so I'm not going to talk about that because I only read like 15 or 10, 15 pages, and I was like, no, it's just not for me. So, you know, not like, it's just, I'm definitely in that mood where and as I said, it's not like I didn't give those books chances. I made a choice at that point that I was not getting enough out of it for me to continue. I just, to me, it wasn't worth it to force myself to listen to the last 2 hours of Spark to get past that. I'm sure it gets really good in the end, but I could not handle her decisions at that point, and I was done, you know. So as I said, both series are just, they weren't for me. I have so many other things I can read, so I'm just gonna let those go. Anyway, so let's talk about the books that I have finished. So I did have the library book of The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, Volume 10. So this is the newest one that came out this fall, and I finally got the turn at it, the copy. So I will be taking this back tomorrow to the library again with the book that I DNF'd. But I really enjoyed, this is actually, I thought this was a really good volume. It was really cute, and I just loved it because of the growth with the characters. I just love this, you know, big cat that, you know, that can walk around like a human and does all this stuff in her house, and it's just cute. It was more of his of the cat's book, of his book, and stuff. I just thought it was really cute. Anyway, so it was a great manga. I really enjoyed the series. I think there's at least 2 more volumes. I think the next one coming out in English translation is sometime in March, or maybe I read that wrong. I don't know, but there's at least 2 more that have been published in Japan. So I think that there's at least 2 more volumes. So anyway, I'm going to continue this manga series. I've really enjoyed it. So then I, hold on, I have a little sticky note because I read a lot of books I did read some audiobooks this week that I actually finished. Sorry. Okay, so I did do the Menu of Happiness by which is the 3rd book in the Kamigawa Food Detectives series. So this is written by Hisashi Kashiwai, I think, and it's translated from Japanese by Jesse Kirkwood. So I listened to the audio, which is done by Hanako Footman. She's done all 3 of them. This was probably my least favorite of the 3, but it's still kind of the same thing. It's like 6 different, I think it was 6 different stories of people who want a certain dish made, and they don't know, you know, they can't find a way to make it the way that they remember. They have this memory of this dish that they really, really want, and it may sound really simple, but really it has a lot of stuff to do, context with their lives, where they lived, who they knew, and kind of connections. So this one was just fine. I enjoyed continuing the series. I will continue I think there's at least 1 more. I don't know when it's coming out in English translation, but this one just came out, I think in October. So it's going to be a while before the next one, but I have enjoyed them. I would listen to them again from the library because it's just a fun series. I don't need to own them. I do own the first book, which I'm not sure I'm going to keep on my shelf, but we'll see. But I did really enjoy that. So let's see here. Oh, and then, okay. I'm just trying to think of my brain what I read. So the next thing I finished was Tender Cruelty by Katie Robert. I got the audiobook for my library. I was like the first one to get one of the copies because I had put a little tag, hey, let me know when this is added to the catalog, and I got it right away. So I started this on Wednesday, and that was what I read on Wednesday. It was so good. It was so Tender Cruelty is book 9 in the Dark Olympus series, which starts with Neon Gods. So this is the series that I have just really enjoyed. I think the beginning books and then this one are my favorite in the series. The ones in the middle, I think there are good points to them, but they're just kind of furthering the story. And I haven't reread any of those. Like, I've reread the beginning books, so I might, because book 10 is coming out, I think in the spring. So I might, which finishes the series, so I might do a reread of the whole series. We'll have to see. But book 9 was so good. This is Hera and Zeus's book, and we've been waiting for this for books, like almost the whole series. So I really, really enjoyed this. I think it's definitely a enemies to lovers book where they have an agreement. They have to be intimate because of their agreement, but they hate each other, and she is trying to kill him all the time, and he's trying to protect her, and there's things going on. And again, the whole machinations of this is a city, Olympus, where the upper city, they are ruled by these people who have titles. Their first names are not Zeus and Hera. That's their title name, and it's like based off of the Greek gods. And so there's a lot of again, a lot of political stuff going on here. A lot of stuff building towards book 10, which is the next one. There were a couple of surprises in here that we found out about some of the characters I've been wanting to find out about, and then there was a great twist in here. I admit it, I didn't see it coming. Not really. Like, I guessed like almost right before, but I didn't in my mind go far enough. So it was really good. I was so shocked, and I really, really enjoyed this. This was, I think, again, I said it's one of my favorites in the series, except for the first couple books. I think it was so good. But again, you have to read them in order because they build on each other. And again, it's the overarching arc of what's going on in this city. And I'm really looking forward to, I think Shattered Gods is the 10th book. And I can't wait to see where that goes. But I really, really enjoyed Tender Cruelty. So I don't have a physical copy yet, but it's on its way. I'm part of Katie Roberts, her Patreon. So I'm in the book tier. So my book is in the mail, and I'll probably get it sometime next week, but I have already read it on audio, done by Zara Hampton Brown and Alex Moorcock. So it was really, I thought it was really, really good. So anyway, so that's good. So then I finished the physical book that I been working on. As I said, I started this back in September. I put it down for a while, and I finally came back to it because, again, I had problems with some of the back timeline. This is the second book in the Thornchapel series, Feast of Sparks by Sierra Simone. So again, I did have another Sierra Simone. The other one didn't work for me, but this one did. This is very much sexy times, but this is about 6 young people who have come back together after they knew each other as children over the summer when they were about 12 years ago, and they had their own little adventure. But they had all summer, but their parents were doing something at Thornchapel. We're not quite sure what. And they are now all back in this manor, and they are trying to figure out what's going on. And they're also having kind of their sexual awakenings and learning about themselves and other people. This book figured out why 2 of the characters, why they were at odds with each other in the first book, and why they were so angry with each other. And a lot of it, you know, it's was misunderstandings, but also it made sense. But and we learn a lot about this, and but then in the end has this cliffhanger of what a big thing that I guessed at, but I wasn't sure how that was going to play out. Wow, I did not guess how, at least the starting of this is. We don't know the aftermath yet because we just, as I said, it was a cliffhanger. So this is a 4-book series. So I have the 2 other books. I do hope to get to Harvest of Sighs, hopefully in January. I don't think I'll get to it in December. But I am really excited to continue reading this series. I do want to finish that up pretty early in 2026. And then I have like 2 or 3 other of her series on my shelf. So I have bought a lot of her books this year, but I do really like her writing. And as I said, it's very sexy times. This is not for everybody. But there's this faint element of, is it a supernatural element? I think there is. But it's so light. Like, it's mostly about these characters and their lives and stuff. And so I know the 3rd book is going to focus more on two of the female characters that we haven't got to know too much about them. And I'm really kind of excited for that. So I'm not sure how it's all going to go. But I really enjoyed this. And I'm glad I finally finished it, even though it was a book that I started one day. And then I didn't pick it up for months. Anyway. And then the last book I finished is a reread because I don't know, by Friday, my brain was a little fried of all like DNFs, and I tried to read something else on Thursday that I'll talk about it. I'm partially in that I'll get back to, but I was like, I think I just need something different. So I picked up Fury by Lorianne Doran. I think that's how it's said. This is the first book in the New Species series. So I read this, I don't know, 15 years ago. Yeah, probably about that. Maybe a little less than that. And I read the series up to a certain point on ebook because that's all I could get at the time. But I did pick up the audiobooks for the whole series on some sale last year, I think, on Audible. So I did listen to it this time. This one was done by Vanessa Chambers. And what this is the New Species are enhanced humans who have been crossbred with animal DNA. And so like Fury is part canine. So he has some dog DNA in him that makes him faster, stronger, and that kind of stuff. They don't all look a whole, like they have slightly different facial structures and stuff, but they are super strong and they're pretty much supposed to be like super soldier-ish kind of thing. So they were bred from this company. And the first part of the book is when Ellie is a nurse who goes in undercover to get information on these people being held captive and that have been experimented on and are tortured. And so she goes in and something happens while she's at the site. And she's trying to get out because she's taken data and she only has so much time to get it to her handler, and something goes wrong with Fury and with him in his cell. Things are going wrong and she stops it, but it goes badly. Anyway, so then it's a few months later, the whole world finds out that there are these people and they have been given a base, like it was supposed to be an army base, and they were given this as what they're going to call homeland. And so they all are transferred there, and they are trying to find a way to live in real life. So again, they're still cut off from most people because there are protesters and things who are saying they're not human, even though they look really, really human. And as I said, they're just enhanced, but again, it wasn't their fault that they got experimented on and stuff. So, but Fury, who is the second in command of the New Species group, he is angry at Ellie for whatever happened in that cell. And when he sees her again, she has come on to help with the females who are coming in and be kind of like their home mother kind of thing at the dorm. And he pretty much attacks her. And it comes out they both have different perceptions of what happened and what he thought she said or did, and that, you know, she blamed him for something just to get her, because she was trying to get out of there with the information. It was all the same. Anyway, I really enjoy the story of how they do get over that. And again, there's a lot of stuff with the world kind of trying to intrude on them. And it's, again, this is the first book of this. So the world is like, it's like a 15-book series. I read up to 11 back in the day. And then she took a break at some point. I think she had some health issues. And then I never came back and finished the series. So I've been wanting to reread or re-listen or listen to the first 11 that I've already read and then continue the last 4. So I started my reread of this. This is the only one I own physically. I did buy it. I was going to buy the whole series, but they're independently published, and it had so many errors in it. I just couldn't handle reading it. So I still have the physical copy, but I'll probably do them on audio. They're really good. And I'm looking forward to continuing, as I said, my reread. So I think that'll go into 2026. I don't know if I'll get to another one before the end of the year, because there are a couple other rereads I want to get to help finish a series. That one I just want to, they're just fun. And again, they're very sexy times and stuff. And they're, you know, they're 2 different species kind of thing. So there's human and then the new species. And so they think things differently. It's very a shifter. They don't shift into anything, but it's kind of a lot, I would say, kind of like a shifter novel on the way that they perceive the world differently. It's just, okay. Anyway, I really enjoyed my reread, and I'm hoping to continue that one. As I said, it's one I haven't read in over a decade. So I do want to get back to that. Anyway, so then I am in the middle of 3 books right now. The audiobook I'm focusing on is The Stupidest Angel, a heartwarming tale of Christmas horror by Christopher Moore. So I read a lot of Christopher Moore like 20 some years ago, you know, and I did meet him a few times at a bookstore. I don't think, oh, this is one of the ones I got signed. So I did somewhere over, we were on the other, we were near the Bay. I don't remember where in, by San Francisco, but it was over there. And a couple of my writer friends and I, we drove over a couple of times to his signings when a new book came out. I think this is just, I picked this up at one point. I don't think it was the book that we were there for, but I have a couple that are signed. And, but this is his Christmas book, and it's the 3rd book. Oh, what is the name of the series? It's like it had I think Practical Demon Keeping and The Lust Lizard of Melancholy Cove. It's part of, I think, Lone Pine. That's it. It's Lone Pine. That's the name of the city. Anyway, they're really funny. They're kind of funny / horror / sci-fi fantasy-ish. They're just really funny. And I totally recommend him for funny stuff. I know he has some other books that I've read. Like I've read his vampire series. And there's another the series about death that I want to go back and read the first book and continue that one. But I had a Christmas one, so I thought, you know what? I have tried to read this 2 other times. The first time I got really far into it. I got 100 pages in. I'm almost there now. I'm like at 80 now. But that was like, you know, whenever I got this signed. So it was like a long time ago. And then I think I tried it last year or the year before. I tried to read it physically, and I didn't get very far. I only got like a couple of pages, and I didn't feel like it at a time. You have to be in the right mood for Christopher Moore, because again, he's funny. It's kind of like how for Terry Pratchett, you have to be in a certain mood to read a Discworld book. Anyway, so we are following this town a couple weeks before Christmas, and there's this angel going around, and he's trying to find a child and to like recreate the nativity scene. And I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's like a California town, so it's like in the 60s, you know. They're gonna have a storm though near Christmas, and things are going weird. And there's characters one's an ex-hippie who is now the law enforcement, and then there's a woman who was a screen, you know, movies like from the 80s and stuff. And she she's kind of went off her meds so that she could buy her husband a gift, and she's crazy. And it's just, and there's a lot of crazy kids, and there's a little 7-year-old who had something happen to him, and he saw something where he thinks Santa got killed. But there's all this reason, there's something else didn't understand what he was seeing, but it was this. So there's mayhem, there's murder, there's weird stuff, and there's this angel who's out to do something. We're not quite sure. So again, as I said, I'm only about 80 pages in, so I still have several hours left of my audiobook, so I'm hoping to listen to that. This one, oh, I didn't write down. It was Tony Reynolds, I think. I don't remember. I forgot to write it down. It was Tony something. So anyway, I am enjoying that. I haven't read a Christopher Moore book in so long, and it reminds me that he is funny. But anyway, I hope to listen and get that done here this weekend or first thing tomorrow. Again, I said I'm not working tomorrow, but I'm restarted my Animal Crossing island for the new update that's coming in January. So I'm trying to I restarted my island yesterday to get ready for that. Anyway. And then I'm reading Legend by Karina Halley. So this is book 2 in a gothic shade of romance. So this is, again, a retelling of Sleepy Hollow with Katrina, Brom, and Crane in this kind of relationship together. But they're witches in this small town. Like, there's a university just outside of town that nobody really knows about. It's kind of magicked that way. And Crane is there as a teacher, and the other two are as students, but they both have weird histories and weird families, and Brom has been missing for years in the first book, Hollow, and we don't know why that is, but now, this is continuation of what's going on. And again, there is the legend of the Hessian who is out to kill everybody. We're not quite sure what they're after, but there is that part of the Sleepy Hollow. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. Again, this is historical. I would say, as I said, it has witches, so kind of a paranormal historical with a lot of sexy times. So I'm really enjoying it. I said I'm only about 106 pages in. I didn't read much last night, but I am enjoying it. So as I said, just came out, so I want to finish this because it's only a duology. So then I will be I'll finish a series. So I do want to read that. And then the other book that I'm in the middle of, I started on Thursday, probably in response to how I felt about Spark of the Everflame. I wanted to try this book because it's a book I want to get to this month and see it is. And I'm really enjoying it, but I was just kind of fantasied out of romantasy or fantasy romance. So I just needed a break, which is why I switched to The Stupidest Angel and I read Fury and stuff. And that is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. So this is book 1 in this series. I don't know if there's another series name, actually. I don't know if it's just Silver Elite. Anyway, I've only gotten about 85 pages in, so not too far. This copy was given to me by one of my subscribers, Lynn, so I wanted to get to it. She got it to me from back around my birthday time. So I am listening to the audio, which I did not write down that name. Well, that was good done. Anyway, I'll talk more about it when I get deeper into it. So far, I'm really enjoying it. The setup has been things are moving. As I said, I just needed a break. So that's why I'm going to listen to The Stupidest Angel. And then once I'm done with that, I'll come back and listen to this. It is setting up, this is a world where there is, somebody who are people who are in charge who don't want people to have any kind of abilities. But they have this elite group in there, and somehow, I'm not going to say how our main character gets sucked into going to this school to become an elite, Silver Elite, but she is forced to. She does not have a choice. And so we're at the very beginning of but there's a whole lot of stuff that happens before that I don't want to give away, there's reasons for a lot of things. And again, I have really, really enjoyed this so far. I just needed a little break because again, I've read a lot of fantasy romance recently, and I jumped the gun by trying to go into this right away. But I will come back to it. So again, this is something I will pick up hopefully after I finish The Stupidest Angel. So if I don't pick it up by the time I get back to work, it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday when I get to it, I'm sure. So I will get to it. So then I'm not sure what I'm going to read after I finish Legend physically. I'm either going to read Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which would get me caught up on this series. I don't know if there's going to be more or not, but I would be caught up on this paranormal romance series with werewolves. So I'd like to read that one. Or I could do A False Start by Elsie Silver, which is book 4 and the final book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, so that I finish this one out. I'm not sure how I'm going to get along with this book, so I'm kind of like, I kind of want to get to this one next to make a decision if I am going to read it. I don't know, there's something about these characters, I'm not sure how it's going to go, because it's there's an age gap, and she is the younger sister of the main character of the 3rd book, and he is the best friend of her brother. So it's a brother's best friend situation. Anyway, I read the first chapter at one point and I wasn't quite sure. So I do want to try to get to this to at least try it. And then audiobook wise, after I finish Silver Elite, I do have several that I want to get to. I still want to try The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I just need to be in the mood for a contemporary, and I'm finding that might not be right now, but I have the audiobook for another week, so we'll see what happens. I just got the audiobook for The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam by Megan Bannon, which would finish the Heart and Mercy series, which I really enjoyed the first book. The second book I liked a lot, and I liked the way the world was built, so I want to see where this one goes. And then I still have The West Wind by Alexandra Warwick, which again, I also have on audio from the library, and it's the second of 4 books in this series, and I own the 3rd book already, and the 4th one is coming in January. So I would like to get this one, and this one is, I think these two are both on, no, actually, no, the first book was on that. This is the last book I will probably get to that's on my 25 books in 2025, because I didn't do great on the list, but I did better than I thought I would. And that's the last one I want to try to get to. So anyway, that's it. I'm another long one. I just can't do short videos right now with my updates, because I've read a lot and then I DNF'd a lot. So, and I want to read so much more. So we will see what happens this week. I will have a couple videos out this week. I haven't decided which ones, but I'll start doing my planning for 2026. I might try a chapter, because I'm trying to get through some books that I want to make some decisions on if I want to keep them. They're first books in series, so I haven't done one of those in like a couple of years, and I used to do them, and not that I'm saying I'm going to read those books right away, but at least I would see if there's some I want to get rid of that I could, as I said, DNF, because I'm in the middle of Shelf by Shelf. I'm filming that right now, and I'm making progress towards my 50% goal, but I am not there yet. And so any help I can get by DNFing or unhauling books in the next week would be great. And again, as I said, I don't want to DNF on the books I just told you I want to read. I'm more talking about some of the first books in series that I only bought one book, and I'm not sure if I want to read it or buy more. So, hiccup. Anyway, I think that's it. Cooper and I are going to go relax on the couch and hang out, which he'll really enjoy. And I'll probably play Animal Crossing while listening to The Stupidest Angel. And then we'll see what I feel like after that. So anyway, I will let me know what you guys are reading. If you guys go into kind of a DNF mode at the end of the year when you're trying to finish things off, or if I'm just being sensitive to things and just DNFing willy-nilly. I mean, I am finishing things too, so it's not like everything. My tolerance is low for situations I don't want to read, I guess. Anyway, I guess we'll see what happens, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.